I like to think that on this channel, I've been trying to give the little audience that I do have a good, clear picture overall of what the Chicago Bulls, and by extension, Michael Jordan, had to deal with during the 80s into the 90s, okay? But my audience is very small, so I'm glad that this docu-series came out, because for me, it's validation of a lot of the stuff that I was talking about on my channel and I've been talking about for years. And it's giving you a truth about what Jordan went through in the 1980s. However, it also explains, and it also erases, okay, a lot of these false narratives that have been out there about Jordan. Him being 1-9 before Pippen in the playoffs, and Pippen was the guy that was carrying Michael, and all this revisionist BS that we've been having to deal with, all right? Now, the truth is starting to come out. Truth that we already knew about, people that actually watched that time of basketball, but young people are starting to be exposed to the truth about one Isiah Thomas, to the point where you got one notorious Isiah Thomas fan. He's going crazy on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? He's going crazy trying to do damage control. This is the truth of the matter. Isiah Thomas is a tremendous point guard. Many people have him as the second greatest point guard of all time. I have him third behind Oscar Robertson. I have it Magic, Oscar, and then Isiah Thomas. But I understand how people can put him second, okay? As great as a basketball player as he was tremendous. There is a reason why he had that reputation when he was playing, okay, as a dirty basketball player, and why people didn't like him. Okay, Isiah Thomas is a very jealous-hearted individual, very envious, very resentful, bitter, and petty. Okay? Now, he made a statement today where he said that Michael Jordan didn't start winning, the Bulls didn't start winning until the 1990s. Championships, per se. But he said that, Michael Jordan and the Bulls never beat the Lakers, the Celtics, the Sixers, and his team, the Pistons. And that they only three-peated against, I guess he was insinuating, weaker teams. Now, okay, I got to counter these points. I don't want to get too convoluted here with the way I'm doing this video. Now, that's true, what he said. The Bulls did not start winning until championships until the 1990s. Okay, but I'll do a parallel. You could kind of make a parallel to LeBron James. LeBron James didn't start winning until he joined the Miami Heat. Okay? And I think even LeBron fans will admit that's factually true. He had trouble beating teams like the Orlando Magic with Dwight Howard, and he had trouble getting past teams like the Boston Celtics, the Big Three, with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo. I don't consider Rondo part of the Big Three. But that's factual. But that doesn't diminish the fact that LeBron James is one of the all-time great players. Most people have LeBron in their top 5, if not in their top 10. There are a few people who think that he's the greatest player of all time. Okay? So that narrative that he didn't win, well, look, Isiah, people can say that the Detroit Pistons didn't start winning until the Celtics got old and beat up, and until the Lakers started falling apart. Honestly, you guys didn't win a title until Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's last year in the NBA. So people could use that against you. They could say that, well, if that had been 5 years earlier, you guys wouldn't have gotten past the Celtics anyway to get to the NBA Finals. The point is, Isiah, and this is the point, you don't like the fact that Michael Jordan has far exceeded you as a basketball player when it comes to fame, when it comes to accomplishments, when it comes to championships, when it comes to glory, when it comes to reputation, when it comes to all of these attributes. He has far and away exceeded you. Now, another point that Isiah Thomas made is he said that he thought that Michael Jordan was only the fourth greatest player that he ever played against. He said that the best player he played against was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then followed that with Magic Johnson, and then Larry Bird. And then he said Michael Jordan was next, and then fifth was Julius Erving. Now that's a fine list, okay, but there's some inconsistencies there. Isiah Thomas is the same guy that co-signed Dennis Rodman's sentiments in 1987 that Larry Bird was overrated. Isiah Thomas said that Larry Bird, if he were black, would be just another good player. Just another good player. I mean, that would relegate him to be Kiki Vanderbilt? Well, that's a white player. What would that make him? Just another, generic, really good forward? Not top five? And also, I remember Isiah Thomas, when you were an NBC analyst, okay? When you're an NBC analyst, you constantly referred to Michael Jordan as the, quote, greatest player of all times. Michael's the GOAT. I remember you always saying that. And this was after. This was during the second three-peat. So why was it that you were calling him the GOAT then? So I can understand if the argument is he changed from saying LeBron, from Mike to LeBron, because he's seen LeBron since then. But how is it that 20 years later, when you were saying Michael was the GOAT then, now you're saying it's Kareem? You're too inconsistent, man. Then one time you'll say it's LeBron. Whenever there's a chance to just take a jab at Mike, Isiah will do it. Okay, whenever there's any type of opportunity for Isiah to take a jab at Mike, he'll do it. Okay? And then you got some Isiah fans on YouTube, like, talking about Mike's, off the court shit. He's a fake person. His image is fraud. He gets high, he drinks, he fucks other women. So does every other NBA player. There's no such thing as an all good person or all bad person. And Isiah Thomas, don't even go there. Isiah Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, when he was a youth, he had gang affiliation. And when he was playing with the Detroit Bad Boys, there was some investigation as far as his ties to the Detroit Mafia. So don't go there, Isiah Thomas fans on YouTube, who I'm not going to name. This shit with Isiah and Mike have been burning ever since Mike entered the league. Even maybe before Mike entered the league. Okay? Isiah Thomas did not like the fact that Jordan came in the league with all this hoopla and all of this praise his first year. You know what I'm saying? He was tearing up the NBA. He was from Chicago, which Isiah was from. He couldn't stand it. Okay? He couldn't stand that he was not revered in his own home city the way that Jordan is revered in Chicago. Even Dwayne Wade gets love from Chicago. He never played, any meaningful basketball there. He did play, I think, a season or two in Chicago, but his best years were with Miami. He's more affiliated with the Miami Heat. But Dwayne Wade gets love from Chicago. Zeke never really did. And it burns his soul. And it burns his soul that Michael Jordan is perceived as a superior player to Isiah Thomas. And it burns his soul that for as dominant as the Pistons were in the late 80s and early 1990s, they are not a beloved team. And Michael Jordan's Bulls have far supplanted them and superseded them in longevity as far as basketball dominance. Okay? Michael Jordan was the unquestioned leader of the Chicago Bulls. Okay? Isiah Thomas is supposed to be leader of the Detroit Pistons, but yet he blames the walkout on Bill Laimbeer. So who's really the leader of that team? Isiah Thomas was tremendous, okay? Tremendous as a basketball player. But he had a reputation for being dirty. He had a reputation for being the type of guy who throws the rock but tries to hide his hand, hand behind his back and point at others. You know what I'm saying? He's that type of guy. Many people, including Will Perdue, in a recent interview, blamed Isiah Thomas for the collapse of the CBA, the old CBA. All right? Isiah Thomas, whenever he was connected to any organization, whether it be the Toronto Raptors, the Indiana Pacers, the New York Knicks, there was always some scandal. There were always some type of negativity attached to the situation. I remember when he was the coach of the Pacers, he was personally involved. Well, he personally not get involved. He personally provoked a brawl that occurred with his team, the team he was coaching at the time, and I forgot who the opponents were. May have been the Knicks, I don't know. But he provoked it. This guy, I don't know, man. Isiah Thomas is a dirty guy, man. And I'm just going to end it on this, man. The thing that really throws me off with Isiah, man, was the way he treated Magic Johnson. Okay? The way he treated Magic Johnson was a disgrace. Magic was genuinely hurt. People gotta understand, Magic, back in those days, the league wasn't as buddy-buddy as it is now. It was really hard to strike up friendships with players, even on your own team sometimes, let alone oppositions. So Isiah and Magic had a friendship. But this friendship started to fray during the NBA Finals series. I think it was 1988. It started fraying a little bit. And then by the early 1990s, they weren't really as friendly as they once were. But when Magic Johnson announced that he had HIV, the main person going around, okay, insinuating that Magic was gay, Magic got HIV from having sex with gay people and all of this type of stuff. The main person going around insinuating that stuff was his supposed former good friend, Isiah Thomas. And Mahari said it beautifully on a podcast on Ticket Show the other day. I don't understand how Magic was able to forgive him. And you could see the way that Isiah reacted that he felt a lot of regret and pain for what he did. That wasn't just tears of joy, we're friends again. That was, I can't believe what I did, because it was horrible. That's the worst thing Isiah Thomas ever did, in my opinion, when it comes to relationships. That was terrible what he did to Magic Johnson. Okay? And at the end of the day, that's why, for the most part, he was put off that dream team. Michael may have said something about it. Okay? They say he didn't say much. I think Michael probably did speak up. Okay? I think Scottie Pippen spoke up about it. I think Larry Bird spoke up about it. Clyde Drexler said something about it. But I think the main guy was Magic, because Magic was completely hurt by what happened between him and Isiah Thomas. Okay? So this is everything I'm going to say in conclusion. Isiah Thomas is a spectacular player. I think he's a top 25 all-time player. But at the end of the day, the things that he did in his life, on the court, and a little bit off the court, has stuck with him. Like Slimer's slime, you know what I'm saying, from Ghostbusters. He can't get it off. It stuck with him. He's trying to revision a lot of stuff, and trying to change the narrative. And no, this docu-series is telling the truth about a lot of stuff. And as it goes on, more and more truths, I think, will be revealed. Okay? But that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.